So the time has come. The surface where I keep my fragrances is completely full. There is not one space for me to put one more bottle down. So I'm being forced into decluttering a couple. And actually, I think this is pretty overdue. I probably should have done this a little bit earlier. I tend not to declutter fragrances very quickly. I tend to hold on to them and really try them and really make sure they're not for me before I do end up decluttering them, because I wouldn't want to declutter something that I ended up then rebuying. I think I find declutter a little bit embarrassing because it's admitting to the world that you perhaps don't know yourself as well as you think you might, or that you haven't really researched the fragrances that you've bought. And actually, I blind buy quite a lot of fragrances. So in reality, if I were 100% right all of the time, life would be very boring, wouldn't it? But I'm clearly not, because I get it wrong quite a lot of the time. So today I've got 10 fragrances that I'm going to be getting rid of, and I thought I'd just film it in a declutter video for you to all see my reasoning behind this and to check me when I buy something random in the future that I probably shouldn't do. So if you haven't seen me before, I'm Claire Smith and I make videos all about perfume. If that interests you, then please consider subscribing if you haven't done already. And also please press the like button if you do like this video. So let's get on with this. So the first fragrance I'm getting rid of today won't come as a shock to anybody who watches my channel regularly, because it's one that when I first bought it, I just instantly didn't like it. And that is Scent of a Dream by Charlotte Tilbury. So Charlotte Tilbury, if I were to imagine a fragrance that she would make, it would not be this fragrance. This fragrance completely shocked me with how it was. It really wasn't anywhere near close to what I thought Charlotte Tilbury would make. I just thought Charlotte Tilbury would make, like a makeup-y kind of fragrance, something with perhaps some iris, perhaps some rose, something powdery, something like that. This is not that. This fragrance is very hippy-dippy, and it's also a little bit vintage smelling. So it's kind of got a split personality, really. So the hippy-dippy part of this fragrance is a really kind of zingy citrus. So to me, it smells like grapefruit. I don't think grapefruit's listed, but that's really what I get, grapefruit. And also some patchouli, so like a really hippie patchouli, a woody patchouli. And then the other side of this fragrance is kind of a vintage vibe to it. Soapy feeling, and it's also a little bit aldehydic almost. And there's a lot of fuzzy violet, and there's a really strange jasmine note in this fragrance as well as other white florals. So you get that kind of hippy-dippy, and you also get the vintage. But as well as all of that, there's also a load of molecular notes in this, which just make it a little bit all-encompassing. If you want something with great sillage, great projection, this is it. This fragrance is loud. This one I just cannot tolerate. I think the real killer with this fragrance is that it reminds me of soap in the dry down. It's just something I just do not like. I can't even stand carbolic soap on my hands when I've washed my hands with it. It just smells so strongly to me. So this one just had to go, but I can see if you like this fragrance, it is a really distinctive fragrance. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, at least this fragrance provokes a reaction. At least this fragrance is very, very different to everything else I've tried. It's a very standout fragrance, actually, and I can see why somebody would choose this as a signature scent, because it is incredibly distinctive. It's just not for me. So that's Scent of a Dream by Charlotte Tilbury. So the second fragrance might be more of a shock, because it's one that I really do quite enjoy, but it just has a few things that just bother me about it. So the second one is Stella McCartney's Bluebell Pop, or Pop Bluebell, I think it's actually called. So this one is a beautiful, almost tropical feeling fragrance. It's got frangipani in it, it's got tuberose, but it also does have some notes that are reminiscent of bluebells in a way, but it's pretty close, but it's not quite getting there. But it also is really quite synthetic, which I wouldn't really not expect for the price that this fragrance is. But it's also basically a skin scent. This is something that really doesn't project. It does last quite a long time on skin, but you just have to press your nose right into your skin to be able to smell it. And whilst I don't really want a beast mode fragrance, I do want something that I can notice for a decent proportion of the day on me, and this is really not it. Also, this fragrance has one of the worst sprayers I've ever experienced on any fragrance. It really is truly dribbly. This honestly isn't a bad fragrance. I think if I didn't have over 100 fragrances right now, I'd probably be keeping this one because I do enjoy aspects of it. It's just because it's so light that I'm getting rid of it. So that's Stella McCartney Bluebell Pop. So the third fragrance I'm getting rid of probably won't be a shock to anybody if you've been watching my videos. So this is one that I bought a couple of months ago, and it's just one that I haven't really enjoyed. I've been trying, but it just isn't me. And that's Valentino Donna EDP. There's something weird about the iris and the patchouli in this fragrance that just makes it feel too warm, too dense and too cloying for me. I just find it a little bit much. It feels like I'm being hemmed in when I'm wearing this fragrance. It makes me feel claustrophobic almost. There's something that I really don't like about this fragrance. And on paper I should love this fragrance because it's powdery, it's got rose in it, and really the reason I bought this was because it had a listed leather note, and actually, I don't smell the leather at all, and I do have the original formulation of this fragrance. And I found that incredibly disappointing. I really didn't expect not to like it quite so much, but yeah, this one just has to go. So that's Valentino Donna. The next fragrance is one that I bought in, I think, summer last year, and it's one that Mille LeBlanc made me buy. And it's from a house that I really, really struggle with, and I'm still trying to find one that I might love from this house. And it's Burberry Body EDP. So this fragrance, it's just incredibly sour. And whilst I like the dry down of the fragrance, I absolutely hate the way it smells in the beginning. So I have issues with peach, and this has peach in it. And okay, to me, this is a little bit peachy, but more so the peach and the wormwood in this fragrance really mix to produce something that smells like sour apples, like Bramley apple juice is how this fragrance smells to me in the beginning, and I just don't really enjoy that. And that sourness really does stay into the dry down, but it's a little bit less in the dry down. But I just tend to not reach for this one because I don't want to go through that opening to get to the nice dry down. And I can see this fragrance is really distinctive, and I can see why people would like this because it is a really nice musky, woody dry down and is quite a comforting kind of creamy musk in a way. But I just don't like the opening. And actually this fragrance is really quite strong. It does have good longevity as well. And I can see why somebody would love this fragrance, but it's just not for me. I think really the nail in the coffin with this fragrance was when I sent some of this to somebody and they said that it reminded them of Baby Sick. And whilst they admitted that the dry down was pleasant, now I just can't get that out of my head. So this one just has to go. So that's Burberry Body EDP. Okay, so the next one is from a house that I seem to declutter quite a lot of fragrances from, and that is Moschino. So this fragrance, again, I bought last year, and it's Moschino Fresh Couture. So this fragrance, I clearly bought it because of the bottle. I was just intrigued. I mean, how can you look at this bottle and not want to try it? It just looks like something that's going to be cool, doesn't it? They just got me with the packaging on this one. So this fragrance I actually bought in a bundle with Moschino Funny, and I absolutely love Moschino Funny. And actually I bought the bundle for this one, but I ended up liking the other fragrance that came with it. So this one I bought because it has a peony note, and I love peony in fragrances. I find it really, watery, refreshing, but also just beautifully floral. And this one, whilst it does have the peony, it also has a lot of citrus, and it also has that signature Moschino musk. So Moschino do this thing in their fragrances where they have like a citrus and a musk. And they also normally have ambroxan, and ambroxan and the musk make the musk smell very, very soapy. It smells in the dry down like a laundry detergent, and I'm just not all about that anymore. I can't do that sort of super clean musk when there's not something in the opening to make me want to spray this, and the opening just isn't that special for me. Okay, it's got the peony, it's got the raspberry, but it's just not. It's not bright enough. It's not something that I want to reach for. And so this one is going to go. I'm going to keep Funny because I like that one, but this one's going. So this fragrance is one that I ended up accidentally buying twice. I know it's embarrassing to admit, but I actually have a little baby one as well. So this one is also going. And this one I got in a little bundle with another Moschino fragrance. So yeah, it's like Bundle City, this Declutter, isn't it? So the other fragrance that I got with this one was Moschino Fresh Couture. So this one, I thought it might be better, that's why I bought it. Don't ask me what the logic was, but I just thought maybe this will be nicer, maybe I'll love this more, maybe this is the Moschino for me. And yeah, having tried this, I do like it more than Fresh Couture, but it's really not worth keeping. It's not something that I love. So this one does have more fruitiness, and it also does have more floral. So it has rose, and that's a much stronger note than the peony in the other fragrance. And yeah, I like this one. It reminds me a little bit of Bright Crystal. It's a very crowd-pleasing scent in the opening. But as it dries again, you get that Moschino signature musk again. So it's got ambroxan, it's got the musk, and it ends up smelling exactly the same almost, but just a little bit less citrusy. So again, it smells like laundry musk. And that's why this one is going as well. So the next fragrance was again part of a bundle, and it wasn't the part of the bundle that I wanted. So it's one that I just ended up with. I didn't really mean to choose it. So the other part of the bundle that I actually wanted was Issey Miyake's L'Eau d'Issey Floral, which I actually do enjoy. And this fragrance, Boss Femme, was the other half of that bundle that I didn't really want. So I tried this fragrance in store a couple of times, and it's just one of those fragrances that doesn't really leave an impression. It's something that is a bit nothingy. And having worn it a few times, I still haven't really got any more of an impression from it. I do get that when you first spray it, you get more of the lily and the freesia in this fragrance. And there's also weirdly quite a prominent amber note right from the beginning. But really, you know, in the dry down, there's really not much of a change. There's nothing that really stands out. It's something that actually fades pretty quickly. It's gone on me within an hour or so. It's really very much skin scent. It's not something that really makes any kind of statement for me, and it's just not something that I really have any reason to like. It just doesn't say anything to me. It doesn't speak to me. So this fragrance is supposed to have a blackcurrant note in it, and I just don't smell that at all. I wish I did smell that. I think that would improve the fragrance greatly. There is rose in this fragrance, and I do vaguely smell the rose, but ultimately it's just the freesia and the lily to begin with the amber, and gone extremely quickly. I just don't really have reason to pick this one up, so that's Boss Femme. So the next fragrance is probably the biggest disappointment of this video for me, and it's one that I've tried so hard to love, and I've been trying it over several months, and I just can't get on with it. And it's Dolce & Gabbana's Light Blue Love is Love. So I think the thing that I don't like about this fragrance is that it's just so sharp, and I think that might just be a general thing with light blue. I might just not like light blue fragrances, and if so, so be it, because this one has really put me off trying any others. I don't know whether I bought the wrong flanker here. Maybe I should have tried Light Blue Sun. Maybe that one would have pleased me more, but the reason I bought this one is because it has a listed note of raspberry gelato and also of chantilly cream. And I thought, oh, something creamy with all that sharpness. Maybe that'll be interesting. Honestly, I don't smell either of those two things. I do smell raspberry, but I just smell a really sharp raspberry at the beginning. A sharp raspberry, a sharp apple, a sharp lemon. The whole opening just makes me think of dissolvable aspirin. It has that kind of sharpness about it. It's something that's quite sour. Even in the dry down, I don't really enjoy this, and I don't really get anything sweet. I get something sort of rough and sugary, but not necessarily sweet, if you know what I mean. There's something rough in the middle of the fragrance. And also the dry down is cedar, amber and musk. And that combination is generally not something that I usually love in fragrance, and this is no exception. Also, it has really poor longevity. Literally a couple of hours, it's gone. And really, the projection is not great either. So there's really no reason for me to keep this fragrance any longer. I don't really enjoy it. I really wanted to love this one, and I know a lot of people love light blue as a general line and also love this flanker, which is why I put it in my summer perfumes video, because I thought it might be an option for some people, but this is really not an option for me. So that's going. So it's Light Blue, Love is Love. So the final fragrance is one that I have actually emptied a bottle of before, and it's one that I repurchased in anticipation of me needing another bottle, because I knew that I was going through the bottle quickly. But actually, I got a little travel spray of this fragrance and I don't think I need a full bottle. So I've also got this 50ml bottle and it's Emporio Armani's Because It's You. So I just don't think that I'm ever going to go through a 50ml bottle of this fragrance, given the number of fragrances that I now own. I also want to experience other fragrances in my life and I don't feel like I want to, tie myself to using a 50ml bottle. I am a little bit hesitant to get rid of this because I know this fragrance has been reformulated now and I do have the original formulation here. I just don't want to have something sit in my collection and potentially go bad when somebody else could be enjoying this fragrance. And I do have this little travel spray, which is normally what I use this fragrance for. I normally take this fragrance when I'm going somewhere, when I just need something that's an easy wear, when I don't really know what I'm going to be doing or who I'm going to be with. I just need something pleasant. This is just a very crowd-pleasing, easy reach kind of fragrance, and that's the purpose this fragrance serves for me. But I just don't need 50ml of it. But I'm not saying it's bad at all. If you haven't tried this one, it's like a syrupy raspberry fragrance with a kind of quite sharp lemon note at the start of the fragrance, and also a nice rose, and it dries down into like an ambery, musky, woody base. Really beautiful fragrance the whole way through. It is quite sharp with like a bit of lemon neroli, but ultimately just a really pretty, girly, very easy to like fragrance. So that's Emporio Armani's Because It's You. Definitely not a bad fragrance and one that I really do like. So that's the final fragrance in this declutter video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please press the like button and please also consider subscribing if you haven't done already. And please let me know if you're considering decluttering any of your fragrances and also which ones in this video you've tried and what you think of them. I'd be really interested to know. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.